Nobody who gets disrespected more on the Twitch stream than John McMullen.
Well, right.
And I won't stand for that. I'll fire off. I'll get on the Twitch stream and drop some F-bombs.
Some
on these
FU
people.
emails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
John McMullen has never done that, no matter how angry he has gotten in his great career as an Eagle insider on SI and Philly Voice. I mean, the man is a multimedia superstar. Even he has never resorted to firing off an FU email. Have you, John?
No, I don't think you could send an email to a Twitch stream, and those are the only people that don't like me. Everybody else loves me.
Absolutely. I think they love you. That's more of a, like a back and forth. You know how brothers used to fight each other? One guy would punch the one brother. I never had brothers. I had two sisters. You get punched in the arm.
It's interesting, though. You bring up Conlon Farrell. That I believe, and I'm not 100% positive, I believe he was following me, then had to unfollow me.
What?
And then followed me back. I think he was big time.
Wow.
So I don't know what's going on.
I just found out something. He is not following me
Aha.
either.
Even more. Yesterday he was flirting with our guest.
Well, yeah, Baumgartner.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was ready to ditch this show completely and jump ship.
For Brian Baumgartner, because he's a big Office fan. We even gave him a question to ask Brian Baumgartner from The Office.
And it's not
Kevin.
even The Office. It's a podcast about The Office.
So he was ready, looking to find his way out of this show after only being on it for a short period of time. And today he completely unfollows everybody on the show and then doesn't show up for work.
I think the only reasonable thing to move past this would be an apology statement from Conlon. I mean, until then, it means nothing.
He's going to have to go on bended knee, Tone.
Yes, he does.
He's got to get out the notes app. That's how you do it properly.
Oh, that's right, the Notes app. Yeah.
The Notes
and
app.
you got to attach it to your Twitter stream. That's how you have to do it.
No,
So
he
you
has to
can't
get in on it. We have to do a Zoom, and he's got to be in a box, and we're going to have it up there, and he's going to apologize to everybody, not just me, not just Harry.
By the way, is he at the New Jersey
Yes.
Motor Vehicle
Yes.
Commission? Because remember, it's not the DMV anymore. It's the MVC. And they changed it because it had such a horrible reputation. And you see what it is now.
And here's the best part, because the governor of New Jersey, the Honorable Phil Murphy, has yelled at people because the DMV has been closed just like every other state. And so now a lot of people need their car registration, getting their licenses.
There's a backlog.
And so every day at 8 a.m. they open up at various locations throughout the state because it's a state agency. People show up at 8. By 9 o'clock, the building is full and they can't let anybody else in. So
They're at
everybody,
capacity.
And so people have been camping out. The governor
They
has,
got lounge chairs. It's like a concert.
and the governor has told those people to go home and not camp out because it's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as it's social distance, as long as you have your mask on, everything's fine.
Exactly
You
right.
got to do it, right?
Right now with the
only-
rain,
the
everybody's
only
being
people-
washed off.
Now, if you don't get your license renewed, and by the way, you can do all this by mail. I don't understand these
No,
people,
not
but
everything.
Not
You
everything.
can't do everything by mail, John. You have to get in line. You don't think these people could get online and do it if they could?
I don't know, but I don't know what they're doing because I've done everything online for about 10 years now.
Well, yeah, like our parking passes here in Philly, since I live here, I can get one online and renew it just like my registration. But if you need to get a license, you have to physically go in and get your picture taken.
If you're going first-time license, you have to do all that. But I'm saying if you're just renewing, and a lot of these people I've seen on television in lines, they look like they've had licenses. They don't look like 18-year-old kids. So I don't know what they're doing. But I'm sure they got to be there. I just don't know why.
All right, let's get it back to things that are more important.
Let's get it back.
Like the
Get it
complete
back to
collapse
the
of the
NFL.
Philadelphia Eagles organization. The Deshaun Jackson story refuses to die, John. And I know you wrote about it because I don't know what it is about people with the last name of Jackson. Because first you had Deshaun Jackson, then you had Steven Jackson, and now you have Malik Jackson, defensive tackle for the Eagles, going into a Twitter beef or an Instagram beef with a fan, and he flat out defends
Farrakhan.
Louis Farrakhan and calls him
Honorable.
an honorable man. And Jeffrey Lurie is nowhere to be seen because he's promoting a movie about Hitler. And now people are saying, what the hell is going on down there?
Yeah, I got that release about Jeffrey's production company. I'm saying to myself, is Ashton Kutcher here? What's the name of that show? Did I just get punked?
Punked.
Because you look at Jeffrey Lurie, and he's producing this movie, which, by the way, has no release date, but nonetheless. I'm thinking to myself, is this the greatest viral PR campaign in the history of mankind?
That's what we were saying yesterday.
Yeah, maybe it's unintended, but it's going to give it great promotion.
It is, but yeah, it was pretty evident the Eagles were hoping this would go away, and that's how they were going to approach this, sort of hide and hope. You think about everything going on in the world, the pandemic, and all the talk, and even in the NFL world, forget about society as a whole, but all the talk about getting the season started. NFLPA arguing with the NFL. They just started another conference call where basically just over 2 weeks away and nobody can agree on anything. So all of that, I think they were hoping would brush this out of the headlines. But every day somebody comes up and talks about it and says something more stupid. Now Malcolm Jenkins is the latest.
Yeah, we have breaking news. Malcolm Jenkins, noted CNN contributor, who hasn't said anything about this, has finally, I guess it finally got back to him wherever he is, and he says, remember, he's the guy that ripped Drew Brees for saying he'd stand for the anthem, and now says he's not really defending what Deshaun Jackson said, but he doesn't want this to distract from the black social justice issues that he's focused on.
Yeah, he dropped sort of a Woj bomb. I think he said, "Shut the F up" to Drew Brees.
Yes,
and
exactly.
now he's saying he did say Deshaun was wrong, and then he said it's the back and forth that's distracting from the real issue. Look, I hate identity politics. I hate it. I just hate it, and I don't care what it is, but identity isn't an accomplishment, and there's accomplished people across every single race, every single creed, every single color, religion, what have you. And that's what people should be focused on. There's good people and there's bad people. And it doesn't matter their skin color. It doesn't matter their religion. And people can't get past that. It's really sad.
Well, the worst part is Malik Jackson, not only does he say that Farrakhan's an honorable man, and he can say what he wants, but then he goes on to say a couple of weeks ago after the Drew Brees thing, he said, I can't wait to play him so he can go out there and hurt him. That's what Malik Jackson says. So I could be a Philadelphia apologist with one of the 50 podcasts about the Eagles and say, oh, that's great. I can't wait to see Malik Jackson go out there and drill Drew Brees because he said he respects the flag and won't kneel for the anthem. That's how crazy this whole thing has become. And the show, and Malcolm Jenkins, by the way, I got to rip Malcolm Jenkins. Don't tell me that this is a distraction. Black Lives Matter is a distraction because it's not linked. It doesn't care about other things like people being slaughtered on the streets. That's the problem that I have with it. You can have any cause you want. Malcolm Jenkins can say whatever he wants, but for people to say that if you don't say Black Lives Matter, you're a racist. They don't care about all black lives. They only care about the police brutality part of it. That's not the biggest problem. It's a distraction. The distraction is this notion that the police are killing innocent people every single day when the facts prove that to be not even close to the factual matter. 10 people, 10 African Americans last year were killed by police officers in the entire country. How was that systemic and out of control police brutality against minorities? How is that statistical fact not disproven?
Check Tony's blood pressure. But one thing I want to say is I have one of those 50 Eagles podcasts with Ryan Rothstein. So
that's right, extending the play.
You're extending the play now? Have you both decried Brute? Have you decried? I want another one, an emergency one tonight.
Here's what I'll say. Look, to me, Black Lives Matter. There's a sentiment. I think everybody could agree with the sentiment.
Of course.
And then there's an organization. The organization, there's a lot of things I don't agree with. Yes. I don't know, and Chris Long had the best comment on the Deshaun Jackson situation. And it was basically, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. You got to be able to hold two thoughts in your head at the same time. And too many people can't do that. I can say I agree with the sentiment. I don't agree with the organization that wants to destroy nuclear family. Go read their their manifesto on their website.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you're not going to agree with, but I can agree with the sentiment. And too many people conflate the organization with the sentiment. And a lot of people don't even know there's two different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
I mean, that to me is the biggest problem.
No, I had people unfollow me because one day I tweeted a couple months ago, "All lives matter," and then I became this target of ridicule and scorn. Like I was denouncing black lives when I said all lives matter. That's the world we live in, John. And you're right about Chris Long. He got off Twitter. And I'm close to doing it too.
Twitter's a cesspool. Social media is a cesspool. I say it all the time. I mean, you have people want to be in their bubble, and they want to be affirmed. They want affirmation. They don't want to learn anything. They want people to agree with them, and they want likes, and they want favorites, and they want people to share, and they want people that agree with them, and they don't want to hear the other side of an issue, and that's the problem. And if you don't, everybody talks about learning and teaching and listening, and they don't learn, and they don't teach, and they don't listen. So you can talk about it all you want, but until you do it, nothing's going to be solved.
Well, I saw where Julian Edelman and Deshaun, apparently, according to his Twitter feed, he said, Julian Edelman said, Deshaun and I spoke for a while last night. We're making plans to use our experiences to educate one another and grow together. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Eagles' plan here. They're trying to get through this, and they're working behind the scenes, and they've contacted various local Jewish organizations and trying to get Deshaun to obviously apologize to them and do some work in that particular community to try to get past this. And they have the statement, and they left it open-ended because there's always a chance that he does something else that makes it even worse, or someone else keeps it in the news. And we just mentioned that's the biggest problem is people keep chiming in on it, weighing in on it. And the more people do that, you know, how I described it is if Scott Van Pelt's talking about it, it's fine. The Eagles will get through this. If Tucker Carlson starts talking about it, they got a problem.
I hear you. John McMullen joining us again. I don't want to go on rants. They could say whatever they want. That's the best part about America. The best part of America is they can say whoever they are. Anybody can say what they want in this country, as long as you're not threatening anybody, as long as you're not doing anything illegal. But the problem is people don't want to hear different viewpoints. That's the world we live in now. And I'm never going to be afraid to speak my mind on the show, ever. I never have, and I never will, John.
I think people have lost the ability to have a regular discourse, have a discussion with two opposing points, and just have a normal conversation without shutting each other down.
We have bigger problems.
Rob, and I agree with that, and that's what I said. That's on social media. Social media is not the real world. Like I always say, these same people, they go out. Well, they used to go out when you're allowed to go to work, and we weren't shut down. And by the way, that's a big part of this as well. People have lost that day-to-day camaraderie. They don't interact with people in a real way. So they go on their keyboard, they say whatever they want, they yell and scream. Before you had this real life and this fake life, everybody goes to their convenience store, they hold the door open, they say thank you, they like their neighbors, or sometimes they hate their neighbors, but for different reasons. The whole point is, and I know I mentioned this a long time ago on the show, nobody has any litmus test in real life. You know, Tony mentioned all lives matter. He got lambasted for that. Well, that was a litmus test.
Yeah.
And that's people online saying, you can't say that. Now, in real life, they don't say that. They don't go to the person at the convenience store and say, I'm not going to hold this door for you unless you say what I agree with. And I think that's what we're missing, and that's what social media does. And it just puts people to each other's throat, and they don't want to hear dissension. They want to be affirmed. Like I said, they want retweets, they want likes, they want favorites. They don't want to hear from people that don't agree with them. I
just want animal videos. I want like BuzzFeed.
Dog pictures.
It's National Kitten Day today. You realize that, John?
Kittens are fine. Yeah.
We love kittens.
I'm more of a dog guy, but I love kittens.
But we don't have any of the cats down here celebrating National Kitten Day today. It's an outrage.
Well, you scared them all away with your rant.
Was that a rant?
Yeah.
Was it a rant?
That was a rant.
Yeah,
Let's be real, Harry. They're kind of used to that
they
in
are?
this house.
Well, John, anything new on the Redskins' nickname?
Yeah, I mean, that's moving fast. I think it's pretty evident that if we have a season, it's not going to be with the Washington Redskins. I think it's going to move that quickly, and I've always thought that. I mean, that's just part of what, Paul, we were talking about. It's not tenable for them to move forward. And everybody's saying it's going to take so long to change the logo. No, it's not. First of all, they've been aware of this for many, many years. So they've had Plan Bs and Plan Cs at the ready. So, yeah, I think you're not going to see another game from the Washington Redskins.
So what's
Maybe
the name? What name have you chosen? There's all kinds. There's a lot of silly
I
ones.
saw
out.
one Red Wolves or something today that was getting a little traction.
How about Red Foxes? I love Red Foxes. And the original Red Fox. They should have a picture of Red Fox.
Oh, yeah. The comedian?
And a junkyard in the background on the side of their helmet.
Sanford
the legendary Red Fox.
Yeah.
Well, what other names could be associated with DC?
Hypocrites? I don't know.
Swamp creatures?
The DC
Oh, there you
Swamp.
go.
the DC Swamp creatures.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we bring back the great TV actor, the great
Yes.
TV guy, Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Remember Swamp Thing? Adrian
That could be
Barbeau.
their mascot.
Yeah, she
Adrian
was in that.
Barbeau was in the
Yes.
original
Oh.
Swamp Thing.
Oh, I think
Remember
we're
that?
onto something.
Loved her.
I think the Washington Swamp Things.
Yes, that
Yeah.
one, or the DC Comics, which is competes against Marvel,
that would
and
be
that's
good, too.
another big issue for another time.
The Twitch stream, the Washington Cesspools.
Exactly.
It's not bad.
But,
Will
but
the Twitch stream be able to come up with a good question for McMullen in
They're
the next
not. They're
2
just
minutes?
all.
We needed one to ask John on his way out.
So this is, for those of you, we were discussing this off air before, that every time McMullen comes on, we will have one question. Like, what do you want to know about McMullen?
Yeah, by the way, I have to correct a record because I gave Sinatra credit for My Way. It's actually Paul
No, it's
Anka.
Paul Anka.
Paul Anka wrote it.
He
Yes.
wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Paul
obviously.
sings it as well.
Yeah,
Yes, he
but
does.
nobody
But
sings
it's
it
Paul
like
Anka's
Frank.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Just wanna make
are
that
you
clear.
apologizing for an error that you made on this program?
I always, I correct every error, no matter how small it is.
No, I do too, because one good thing about doing the show, and especially being on the Twitch channel, you can't make a mistake and get away with it on this show. Although I had a great pull, John, before you came on. We were talking about this storm is Tropical Storm Faye, and I pulled Faye Ray. And a lot of people don't know Faye Ray from the
King
original.
Kong.
Exactly right. I knew you would know, John. Let me give you a roaring laugh.
All right, here's one. What's McMullen's favorite movie? We'll keep it really generic.
Well, that's tough. There's a lot of movies, but I'm generally a big mob movie guy. But I always say Godfather 2 is the best movie ever made. But
I hate to do it.
Tony is out on you today.
I'm out,
I've
John.
said this before.
See if I invite you to my next FiOS movie night.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be bullied by Tony Bruno and say I don't like a movie. Godfather 2 is a tremendous movie.
I agree.
Now, but I like Goodfellas better. That's my favorite movie.
The only mob movie I ever liked and could actually watch all the way through was A Bronx Tale.
That's good too.
That was the only
very
good.
good movie.
All these other ones, and every night now I see when I flip around looking for something to watch when there's no sports on. You know, it's been on a lot. Scarface, one of the worst
That's
movies
campy.
ever
That's
made.
like,
I know. I
yeah.
mean, to watch Pacino do his absolutely horrific.
Yeah, that
you
was
want to?
terrible. That was terrible.
I'm better than
That became, that was actually mocked when it first came out because he did such a horrible Cuban accent. But then it became sort of more of a cult thing, and everyone loves it. And I don't think it was as popular when it came out at the time, but that's certainly not in the conversation with the great mob movies.
By the way, we have an update on the Red Fox's name, which is picking up a lot of steam
Oh,
right
it
now.
is?
Because you see Red Foxes when you're driving around.
Sure.
They're out all over the place. We almost ran over one night up in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Our good buddy Joe Quills checks in on the Twitch stream, and he says, the good thing about the Red Foxes you would hear the sound drop, "You dummy," every time they give up a TD. Oh. Remember when he would yell, "You dummy," at Lamont? "You big dummy."
That would be funny.
Just like at the end of the Eagles game last season. Remember the final game when the Eagles get the fumble and go on and win that game on the last play?
When you were going off on that rant, I was worried you were having the big one. I was concerned. That's why I had Harry check on you.
No, that's Elizabeth. I'm coming to see you soon, Elizabeth. That was one of my favorite shows. Red Fox. That's the golden era of sitcoms.
Grady.
Back in the day.
Grady?
Absolutely.
His buddy?
Grady,
yeah.
It's good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not getting a more complete NFL segment anywhere else, even on the podcast with Ryan Rothstein, which is called the
Extending the Play.
Extending the Play. Not in the grasp. That's a different podcast.
Now, when we come back from the break, Tony Bruno, we have the fabulous Conlon,
with an update and
the
an
guy
apology.
on the couch, calling in.
He's not fabulous. Let's be honest.
John, have a great weekend, pal. Be careful over there. Watch the flooding in New Jersey, and watch out for Phil Murphy. He may be coming up on you in a rowboat to arrest you if you're not wearing a mask outside.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
The great John McMullen.